United States.
Yes, as an exhibition, yes.
Yeah. You've shown some Toy Stories in New York, I think, or?
Yes, I made a few exhibitions in the States with this project here. That's the first time that it's in show.
So, you know, it seemed appropriate to bring a show about guns here. We have one photo here that was taken in Austin.
Yeah, it was taken maybe 5 miles from here.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
south of Austin.
Okay. Yeah, no, I recall seeing that somewhere on the news or online or something, and just kind of being blown away. You know, it's pretty shocking. I'm not a gun enthusiast. And you know, I certainly have my own take, but you're an Italian, and you have I'm sure your take on America's gun culture, but we were talking about how, yeah, you were kind of trying to understand our statistics.
Yeah, when I made this project, since I've been traveling here for 20 years, and I know this country pretty well, I would say, not as Italy, of course, but I think I know many aspects of the United States. But a few years ago, traveling here, one day I realized that I didn't know much about the gun culture in this place, even if, unfortunately, we read a lot about guns in magazines. And so I decided just to try to discover more and understand a bit more about the topic. And so, again, I made this project, but with the idea not to be critical or to be neither pro or against.
Right.
But I was just, curious to see these guns and to understand more about the relationship between people and guns, because it's a sort of a love relationship sometimes. And I like to read and understand love stories, and I think this is a sort of a love story somehow.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because they love their guns.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, it's a love story. Well, what did you end up learning? Having all these experiences, meeting all these people, and what did you come away with from that?
It's difficult to say actually, because every single person told me a different story about this relationship. That somehow at the end of the project I was actually able to make 4 groups of people.
Okay.
And 4 groups of different aspects of this relationship. There were, I would say, a 4 of people that speak a lot about family, so protection, family, and tradition, family tradition. So most of the people that have guns here shot for the first time when they were 8 or 7 years old, thanks to father, grandfather, or who knows.
Right.
So family traditions.
Learning to hunt.
Yeah, and then another, I would say, 4 of people speaks about freedom. So they say, yeah, we are free to have guns, it's in our constitution, we love them, and we want to have many of them. Okay. That's it. Other people are actually in love with guns because they are stylish. So there are influencers in this exhibition, like this guy here.
Yeah.
He's an influencer of the gun industry. So he likes guns because he says that they are cool. I grew up watching movies with guns, video clips, and music, and so says guns are cool and you want them. And then there is the last piece of the cake is about passion and people that love to go hunting or collecting. They use guns for sport, like at the shooting range or training for the Olympics. You can go at the Olympic Games and use a gun. There are at least 5 different disciplines that you do with guns at the Olympics. So at the end of this year of traveling around and meeting people, interviewing them.
So that was all 2019?
2019 and 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we made 2 trips.
So 2020 was the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, I was here in January and February.
Okay.
Yeah, so the last photos were taken in January and February 2020. And then I went back to Italy and everything closed.
So you got back right when the pandemic was starting in Italy?
Yeah. I think I got COVID here and
I started to wonder
beginning
that.
of February. Yeah, because I remember I was really sick for almost 2 weeks once I got back to Italy from the last trip I made in the US.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I got COVID during that trip.
Okay, wow.
At the beginning of the pandemic. So maybe I was one of the guilty people that spread the virus around.
Super spreader.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Another huge group, and maybe it's in the freedom group. There's a bunch of people that are stockpiling guns, in case there's
Civil War.
civil
Some
war.
of them probably yes.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, those,
It's
people
weird,
on
but some
January
of them
6th,
gave
I
me this
mean,
kind of answer.
yeah.
They said, we have guns because something may happen.
Yeah.
But when they answer like that, I felt like they
Yeah.
probably want something
Yeah.
happening.
They want something
They want
to
something
happen.
to happen because they want to use these guns.
They want to use the gun, and they might even.
So that's
Make
scary
it happen.
somehow. But I cannot tell you who gave
Yeah,
me
I
that
see.
answer, but some of them
Yeah.
gave me that kind
Yeah.
of answer. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm heartened that it wasn't the whole group.
No, just a few of them.
All right.
But this is important. This is an important.
But yeah, I have to say that all the people that I photographed were actually super nice with me. So these people are super nice. I would go out and have dinner with them, no problem. So it's sometimes people look at my photos and think, oh, these people are crazy. But I have to say they're not. They're not crazy. None of them. At least I didn't feel they are crazy.
You felt safe and comfortable.
I felt safe and comfortable all the time. They were fun. Then
So
of
this
course
is
the
his
thing.
persona. What is he like?
He's a rapper.
Okay.
Actually, he's an ex-Marine.
Okay.
He was in Afghanistan and Iraq for several years, and now he's back in Louisiana. And he has a YouTube channel. He does rap and he promotes guns, so as an influencer. But he's a fun guy, to be honest.
Well, he
Then,
looks kind of fun.
It's fun. It's fun. I had fun that day. Of course.
Obviously has a sense of
I don't
humor.
know. I don't know if it's good or not that he has so many guns.
Sure.
This is not my role to say if it's
Right.
a good thing or not. But so I personally, if you ask my personal opinion, I think yes, you have probably too many guns in this country. but I didn't feel in danger.
Yeah.
Even if it looks like a dangerous picture because there
Right.
are guns and fire, but no, I was not in danger. I didn't feel that.
Well, I was telling you earlier that when I first encountered the images, I did have that kind of shock experience, and then when I read through your book and read, points that people made in the interviews. Even though I didn't agree with most of it, I felt better. I just kind of felt like, okay, I don't agree with you, but I guess I understand you a little more. And so that did actually give me a comforting feeling in a sense, which was shocking as well to me. I don't know if you had anything similar or?
Yeah, pretty much the same sensation, because I have to be honest and say that when I started this project I had some bias, and I thought that I was going to meet crazy people.
Okay.
But at the end of the story, I have to say, yes, they have an arsenal, but they're not crazy, luckily.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I think
I'm
it's
speaking,
important
and
because-
I photographed 45 people. So
Yeah.
there are 100 millions of gun owners in this country, and I
Yes.
photographed 45. So
Right.
I'm speaking for the ones that
Yes,
I
yes.
met.
Yeah.
Of course, but yeah, the 45 that I met were super nice.
But you also met a lot of people that fall out of my original stereotype in my head.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah, like reading about the Native American people, like talking about how we need guns, to function on the reservation, and all of the women,
Yeah, there are a lot of women.
Yeah, there
in the
are a lot of
project.
women and all ethnicities and
Yeah, a large variety of people, from different cities, different states, different. There are rich and poor,
Right.
white, black, Latinos, Asians, and people like Republicans, but also Democrats.
right.
There's a guy that I met in San Francisco that he was part of the electoral campaign of Hillary.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like a strong supporter, and any kind of people. And maybe it's true that if you like the majority of gun collections are in the South or in the hands of Republicans. Maybe it's true that it's a bit of majority of these people, but it's not only
Right.
there.
Because I'm a therapist, I was thinking about your job and how, like, with the kids and with the, this story and all the series you do, you've traveled the world, you've met all these people, you get people to be comfortable with you very quickly, and those are. They're kind of therapy skills.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It comes natural to me.
Yeah.
I like to meet people, and I like to. I'm super curious. I think the engine of everything I do is my curiosity,
Mhm.
and so I like to sit with people and talk and listen at the stories they have to say. And started to travel, 25 years ago. And again, the first big trip of my life was here in Texas, and I came here because I was in love with the girl. So love is always, again, a nice engine of everything I do.
Yes.
But I don't know, when I came here the first time, but if I think my first travels, like when I was 20, 25, I actually never put so much attention about the place where I'm going, but it's more about the people that I'm meeting and traveling with.
Mhm.
So I really like people,
Yeah.
more than places, I think. And that's why 90% of my photos are portraits.
Right.
And my portraits always go together with a story that I write, according to an interview or the experience that I have with these people. I don't know why I like this, but I like this.
I grew up with a father who, he was a hunter and he had rifles and stuff. I'm always curious about AK-47s, like the machine guns.
Yeah.
Was there any response to how why would you need to use that? They don't use it to hunt, obviously.
No,
because-
they use them for fun, mostly for fun.
For fun. So what it fun to like what? Like go where they
Shooting
shoot-
ranges, or
You can shoot machine guns at shooting ranges?
or in the middle of the rain, the desert. No, at the shooting range in
I don't think-
Yeah, I don't think you can shoot.
I don't
no,
think
no,
you can,
no. No, machine guns. You mean those guns that shoot?
Yeah, like machine guns.
Like these,
Yeah. that-
You asked why would you need
Yeah.
something, but in cases like these, no one of them actually need all these guns. It doesn't matter if they are machine guns or whatever. I mean, it doesn't need so many. It may need one or two, but he has so many because he wants to have so many,
Yes, he's a
and
collector.
he's free to have. No, he's not really a collector. Is
He's
somebody
not a
that
collector of guns?
no, this is not a collection. A collection. There are a few people that I photographed that I can say they are collectors, but
Uh-huh.
a collector have a different approach and relationship with the objects that he collects. For example, I photographed a guy in Florida that
Uh-huh.
he only buys guns that have shot in Vietnam War, or like objects that have an historical value.
I see.
That's a collection. He keeps the gun in the safe room, he cleans the guns every day.
Mm.
So the relationship is really like, this is my collection of things, like butterflies or watches. But most of these objects here are not, they don't have any value, kind of. I mean, they have a value because they cost, I don't know, $500. But
Yeah.
beside that, there are plastic guns, most of them. So he likes to have so many because he likes to use them, not because he likes to collect them.
And so
it's
they
like
find a place in the middle of nowhere to shoot?
Yeah, I mean, no, I remember this day, for example, with this guy was shot because I actually shot with them because I was curious to try.
Uh-huh.
I never shot a gun before,
Yeah.
but while I was doing this project, every time that somebody offered me to try, I said, well, yeah, I try.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and that day we shot in the garden, like here, next to the swimming pool.
Really?
Yeah, there were like a target, like 50 meters away, and we were shooting there.
So that's legal to shoot in your
Apparently, I don't know
backyard?
if it's legal or not, but we did.
Okay.
We
Okay.
did.
Wow.
But with other, even with that family here in Austin, we shot. I have videos, so I'm telling the truth.
Sure.
I have videos of me shooting guns
Yes.
there, exactly in the same place where I took that picture.
Okay.
We were shooting from the porch to the woods.
Okay.
So even in this case, they are kind of hippies. So they're not
Right.
this stereotype of people you may imagine like a gun fanatic.
Mhm.
They have an electric car. They are hippies, but they have 200 rifles and guns, including one bazooka. They have a bazooka, and it's there in the picture. Again, I'm not lying.
Right.
I'm telling the truth. They have a bazooka.
Yes.
I'm not. Can you remind me what a bazooka is?
I had to ask, don't worry,
It's
you're
a-
not,
It's a huge tube
Yes.
that basically shot little bombs.
Okay. Yeah. I think somehow
So
my
you
brothers
shot
had a
with a
bazooka
bazooka
too.
and you make
Yeah.
something exploding.
Okay.
You can like blow a car. Like,
Oh. Okay. I see.
it's not really a simple,
Uh-huh.
like a simple gun.
yeah. No, it's not simple.
Yeah.
But I think I read in one of the responses was about, an AK-47 in the book, and the question basically said something like, well, the military has a right to them, then I want that right too. Which,
Yeah.
I disagree with, but,
Mhm.
Yeah, but no, because if you follow that way of thinking. So
I
you should also
I
have
should
a
be able to
tank.
tank, yeah.
Yeah, or like a F-16 jet. I don't know.
Sure.
Well, and also they're trained to do it for a very specific purpose.
Exactly.
Which is to kill people. That's what it's for.
Right.
There are more guns than people in the
Yeah.
States. But yes, there are 400, plus than 400 millions of registered guns for private uses. But you are 328 millions, so it's 1.4 per person. This is only legal guns, because
Yeah.
there are statistics that
Yeah.
says that illegal guns are probably double than that.
Yeah.
And also another number that made me think and triggered my curiosity and then drove me to make this project is 48% of private guns in the planet are in the USA, but you are 4% of the population, 4% of global population. So 4% owns 48% of the guns. And so when I decided to make this project, I basically said, okay, with my photos, of course I'm taking portraits and then telling stories of people, but I'm also showing numbers and statistics.
But that
Because
really,
when you read a statistic, maybe you don't understand exactly how big is the number, but when you see it like this, you say, oh, yeah, now I understand the number.
Yeah.
exactly. That was my point. Was this really makes it real?
Yeah.
After Obama election,
Yeah.
in 2 months, the sales of guns went up immediately because people were afraid that Obama would have changed regulation, and so they said, okay, let's buy guns. And in 2 months, skyrocket. And the same happened with COVID. During COVID, more than double of sales of guns. Maybe people were thinking to kill the virus with a gunshot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you like Americans to learn about guns? What would you like Americans to know about gun culture?
I don't feel comfortable to answer this question because I don't feel like I can give any advice or suggestion. I'm a journalist, I'm a photographer, and I'm a storyteller. So I like to look at things and people and write stories, and then you can get my book, read the stories, and
Form our own opinions.
and then you come up.
You're
with
a good journalist.
and then you come up with your own opinion.
Like everybody needs to see this, maybe.
Well, it is part of their identity
And their evolution.
yeah, and you know,
Different ages.
I have different objects that I connect with in the same way, and I wouldn't want to part with them.
Oh my God.
But
Look at this. This is crazy. You know what it makes you feel like, because they're all in these normal looking houses, it makes you feel like you have no idea
what's going on in
what's
your
going
neighbor's
on
house?
in your neighborhood,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's actually what happened when I because I started the project by myself. So the first 2 or 3 photos were taken without any help of anyone. I was just here traveling. And then I was in Washington because I worked for National Geographic, so I was there working. I was delivering a project to National Geographic people. And at the end of my presentation, that was a project about dinosaurs, so another topic. But at the end of my presentation, I showed 3 of these photos to the editors of National Geographic, and they said, "Oh, but where did you take this picture?" "Here, in the USA." "You sure?" They were surprised. They said, "Yeah, these people are your neighbors."
Yeah.
I was expecting to, when I made the project, I was expecting to make more exhibitions here.
Right.
But I've noticed that when I present my work here in the USA, magazines or galleries or museums, almost all of them liked it, but they don't know
what to do.
because they don't. Most of the people don't know if it's a glorifying project
Right.
or not, or it's against, because it's the line is really thin and I think of course you may look at my photo and think that I'm criticizing this guy or glorifying this guy, depending on the way you want to look at the same photo. So
I mean, you're documenting reality.
I'm documenting, but it's I have to say that when I show my work outside of the USA, it's a lot easier to people outside of the USA look at my photos and say, "Oh, these Americans are crazy."
Yeah.
So the reaction is almost
Yeah.
always the same reaction.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I show the photos here, I get two reactions. One is probably like you say, "Oh, we are crazy." I mean, we are not. But other people say, "Oh, wow, it's really cool."
Yeah.
I got many messages on my Instagram of people that are asking to be photographed because they say, "Oh, I'm more guns than this guy. You have to come and take a picture of me. I want to be in the project. It's so cool." So this
But they already had the
this
guns,
ambiguity
so
is like,
they already had them. So I mean, it's not like you're creating.
yeah, but people, people are exhibitionists.
Yes. Yes.
Because when my project became viral on Instagram, on Twitter, for a few months, my photos were shared millions of times. Not just not thousands, but really millions of times on Twitter and Instagram for like a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody wanted to be there and be at that kind of exposure.
Right.
And so I got messages of people, why don't you photograph me? I want to be part of the project.
Right.
I want to be cool like this guy.
Yeah, because I was trying to link the Toy Stories and the possessions.
Yeah.
Is also really interesting with, particularly when you're comparing, the more well-off children to the less well-off children, and you were talking about in the book about how like kids in the country maybe they were less possessive of their things, and I'm sure where I'm going, but we have a lot of things in America.
The same in Europe.
Well, that's true. I guess I think about America, consumerism.
Yeah, you are the top three.
Yeah. I suppose there's some thought, and particularly with the one of the boy in Ukraine, which
Yeah.
is
And it's
amazing.
weird how different I felt about it. Because it was Ukraine,
Yeah.
right? What
And
does
I took
that
that-
mean about me?
I took that photo 12 years ago, so I think that
No,
boy
it's
now
14 years
14,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
14 years ago. So that guy, that kid now is probably 18, 20.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully alive.
yeah,
Thinking about just all of the things we have, and we have too many things, and
that's true. We have too many things.
Well, and this,
I mean, we have too many of everything.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
This is like, it's like collecting purses or tennis shoes or
Right.
something. That's what I'm saying, collecting. It's also, these were toys, right? My brothers all had toy guns.
Yeah.
And so that's what I thought of looking at the toys. I mean, also when I saw the Barbies,
Sure.
you know what I'm saying? Because then girls grow up to look like Barbie and they collect a bunch of, we breed this. We have different gun laws, so we're allowed to collect guns. You know, like you do when you're a kid, and you have all different kinds of rifles and, you know, whereas, and I read a thing about toys too, when you were talking about how much stuff we have. Because they did a like a psychological study about children and how kids used to have like a favorite doll or a favorite soldier or something like that. And now kids they don't just have one, you know what I mean? They're like a fleet of toy cars.
Yeah.
And that they have so many that they are like, they captured one kid saying, he was like, I don't know how to love so many cars. You know, where when you have fewer, you can focus. And I read in here, he was like, oh, you know, when they said, I can't tell you which one's my favorite. They're all like my children, so that's why I don't
Thank you so much for
This
coming.
is so important.
You're welcome.
I'm excited that you were able to come, and I hope that many more people discover your work, and I really appreciate it, and I think it's a wonderful exhibition.
Thank you.